It doesn't happen with a bang. There is no alarm bell, only a whisper, quiet at first, like wind brushing through an abandoned hallway. Is this all there is? That question appears without warning, often in the midst of so-called success. You've climbed the ladder, followed the script, fulfilled every role handed to you. Student, professional, partner, parent. And yet in the silent intervals of life, between meetings, after a toast at your own birthday, you feel it, the dissonance, as if the life you're living belongs to someone else. Something isn't right, something never was. The first 40 years of life, as Carl Jung proposed, are not the story. They are the research, the preparation. In those decades, we chase identities, fabricated ones. We dress ourselves in other people's definitions of achievement, beauty, family, success. We wear masks molded by society, believing them to be our true face. That mask is what Jung called the persona, a necessary but false construct, meant to help us survive in a world that values performance over authenticity. But masks grow heavy. Eventually, they crack. The moment they begin to splinter is what many mistake for a crisis, a term society uses to cage what it fears. A midlife crisis sounds like dysfunction, but what if it is actually the first moment of clarity? What if that discomfort is not collapse, but awakening? What if everything you believed about yourself was merely scaffolding, and now, finally, you are ready to build the real structure? As this unsettling realization unfolds, the world around you often resists. Friends call your discontentment selfish. Family worries you're losing grip. But internally, you are undergoing something far more profound. You're confronting the shadow, the parts of yourself you buried, your unlived desires, your quiet regrets, the traits you were told were too much or not enough. They were never gone, just hidden. And now, they knock. This is the rising action of a deeper narrative. You are no longer chasing applause. You are searching for alignment. Your questions change. From what do I want to achieve, to who am I really, from how do I fit in, to why did I ever need to. But beware. This path is not paved with comfort. Individuation, Jung's word for this metamorphosis, is not the adding of more, but the stripping away of everything false. It demands solitude. It demands honesty. It demands the courage to look in the mirror and see both the light and the darkness staring back. And yet what lies on the other side of this unraveling may be the first breath of true life you've ever taken. Before we continue, ask yourself, if everything you thought you wanted was just preparation, what is it preparing you for? You wake up one day and realize you no longer recognize the dreams you're chasing. Worse, they no longer recognize you. The descent begins subtly. An anniversary passes without joy. Your job, once a badge of pride, now feels like a prison. The mirror reflects your age, and instead of fearing wrinkles, you fear something far more chilling. That your time has been spent climbing a mountain that was never yours. The shadow, as Jung defined it, is not evil. It is exiled. It is made of everything about yourself that you were told not to be. It contains your anger, your hunger for purpose, your unspoken ambitions. Most people bury it deep beneath their persona, living only half lives, well-behaved, unfulfilled, silent. But in the second act of life, the shadow rises. You start to feel it in your bones, a pull towards something unnamed, unfamiliar, but utterly yours. This confrontation is painful. You grieve not just for what you've lost, but for the parts of yourself you never allowed to live. You might leave a job, a relationship, a city, not because they are bad, but because they no longer reflect who you are becoming. Society will call it a breakdown. But you will begin to understand. It is a breakthrough. And amid the chaos, something remarkable begins to take shape. The silence you once feared becomes sacred. You listen, not to the world, but to your inner voice, the one you silenced for decades. You start to ask different questions. What makes me feel alive? What do I long to give, to create, to leave behind? This phase is not about reinvention. It is about revelation. You are not becoming someone new. You are returning to someone ancient, your true self. The world offers no guidebook for this transition. It demands that you write your own. But those who dare to walk this path discover something strange and beautiful. The more you strip away the false self, the more power you reclaim. Here, in the depths of your own mind, you find strength not rooted in titles or approval, but in clarity, authenticity, meaning. Here, in the depths of your own mind, you find strength not rooted in titles or approval, but in clarity, authenticity, meaning. So before the final part of this journey unfolds, consider, if the shadow holds the keys to your fullness, will you dare to unlock it? Somewhere between what you were and who you're becoming lies a moment of terrifying clarity. You are finally awake. And now, everything changes. You no longer ask what others expect of you. You ask, what do I expect of myself? You no longer chase timelines dictated by culture. You write your own. In place of noise, you now seek silence. In place of status, depth. In place of approval, truth. This is the climax of the journey. Not an explosion, but an unfolding. You begin to live intentionally. You stop reacting. You start creating. Relationships deepen. Conversations become real. You're no longer interested in playing a role. You are finally, fiercely interested in being whole. Psychologically, neurologically, even biologically, you are different. Studies show emotional regulation improves in midlife. Perspective expands. The brain becomes more balanced, less reactive. You aren't just older, you are wiser, grounded, less afraid. And with this newfound power comes responsibility. To live not the life expected, but the life aligned. This may mean rebuilding, or walking away, or staying but with new eyes. Because now, you are not driven by fear, but by meaning. This is not the end. It is the beginning, a rebirth, a return. You are no longer the persona. You are no longer just the shadow. You are the whole, the integrated self, capable of living fully, of giving freely, of dying with no regrets. And as Jung said, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. So all myths are now unraveled, all illusions burned away. You are not broken, you are not lost. You are merely unfinished. The only question that remains, the one that will haunt the silence after this video ends, is this. Now that you know who you were never meant to be, will you become who you were always destined to become?